Hi, my name is Richard Rackley, and I'm here today interviewing Ida Randall with Knoxville Staging. We're going to learn about what it takes to stage a house and what that even means. Hi, Ida. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So just tell me, what is home staging?
Home staging is merchandising. I specialize in merchandising a property so that it presents itself really well in photography. So those are your biggest hooks for your marketing. And that people notice the selling features and aren't distracted by anything else.
Right. Okay. So how do you determine, what you need to do a home staging? What's the process? How does it start?
Well, I start my process with a consultation.
Uh-huh.
What I found is that people were not really willing for me to come in and just rock their world
right.
all at once. So I come in and I evaluate the house inside and outside just like a buyer would. I'm looking at condition, I'm looking at the size of the rooms, how many bedrooms. I'm taking an evaluation. I do it with pictures because I'm a very visual person and the world is turning very visual.
Right.
I don't know if in 20 years people will read, so, and people look at, that's all they do online is look online. So I photograph the house just for myself to see how it photographs. And I talk about staging concepts. I'm not just kind of hit or missing. I have core things that I do and I recommend in every house. And then there are things that I do just specifically based on what I see in your house.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the actual furniture. So staging is bringing in furniture and bringing in other things, pictures, I would assume, lamps and things to fill the house.
Vacant staging is bringing in furniture, art, and accessories.
Okay. So that's when a house is empty.
That's when a house is empty. So when the house is empty, believe it or not, it actually feels smaller because people don't have anything to scale to. So when they're looking at a room, they go, I don't know if a couch and a chair will fit in there. And really, you probably could put a whole seating arrangement in there. So vacant staging, I bring in furniture, art, and accessories. To give clear purpose to the rooms. You probably looked at some pictures of vacant homes online and you see one room after another room and you have no idea what those rooms are.
And really, when you're looking at pictures with no furniture, if the walls are painted the same and the flooring's the same,
you have no idea.
The rooms all look the same. It really doesn't leave that big of an impression. So.
Right. It's hard to tell. Is that a bedroom? Is that an office? Is that a family room? So I bring in furniture, art, and accessories to do that. Also to highlight the mantle and built-ins, bathrooms, the kitchen.
And when you say built-ins, built-in shelving?
Built-in shelving around fireplace or in a bonus room. So all the key selling features, I usually put some accessories by to help it photograph well and so that you notice it. Basically, what I want to do in a home is grab your little nose and say, look this, look this way, look this way. I want to direct where you look.
And when you say you're talking about the potential buyer.
Yep.
You want to guide the buyer to guide their eye. Just like, that makes a lot of sense. It's the same thing in print advertising and in television. They just guide your eye with where the logos pop up on the screen and then the offers right after that,
Every photo you see in a magazine has been merchandised.
Absolutely.
Right. So, if you start to look at it, you go, oh, wow, this is what they wanted me to notice. Sometimes I put something bright. I've done this since 2008, and the market, in 2008, professional photography in real estate was kind of new. Not everybody was hiring somebody. And in that time period to now, in 23, if someone's not professionally photographing your home, they're not really doing you a good job of marketing your property.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
And everything has become visual.
Well, and I've seen listings where it looks like they use their iPhone or a cell phone to take pictures, and you can tell a big difference if it's not professionally photographed.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I do in a vacant home. I bring in furniture, art, and accessories. In an occupied home, then I work with what they have. So it's about minimizing items. It's about moving things, rearranging things to create better navigation, to make a room feel larger, to give clear purpose to the space.
Sometimes you have to ask them to put things in storage, I would imagine, when they have too many things.
Almost always.
Almost always, okay.
Almost always. I was just in a consult this morning before I came in here, and what I told them is, this isn't real life.
All right.
Nobody wants to buy real life. Real life is messy.
Yeah.
There's papers. There's stuff in your bathroom. There's things around your
clutter
toilet.
in every corner.
Right. Would you check into a hotel? Do you want to see someone else's stuff on the counter?
Right.
You do not.
Well, when I talk to listings, I explain that you want the house to be as clutter-free as possible. You want the house to be as clutter-free as possible.
Yeah.
And because people want to see their own stuff. They want to be able to visualize their things here. And if you have too many of your own things here, it's hard for them to do that.
Right. Well, they spend more time looking at your stuff than they do the space.
Right.
Right. And so that's one of the biggest reasons that you want to do that is we're just selling a lifestyle. This house has magical qualities. You don't have a lot of stuff if you live in here. You have a lot of storage. Things aren't out. Let's just face it. Nobody wants to look at anything that isn't pretty. We want simple and pretty, but that's not the way we can live. I mean, you're wound pretty tight if you live like that.
So, how long does you mentioned a consult? So let's say someone's listing their home, you do a consult, and then do you come back a few days later to see if they did the things you suggested, or how does that work?
Well, how I run my business is I do a consultation and I generate a detailed report.
Okay.
And so then I send them that detailed report the next day, and they look it over. They don't have to do everything on the report, but it has a cumulative effect.
Sure.
And they work on what they want to work on. If they want help, I pretty much give you a DIY stage your home report. If there are things on there that they don't want to tackle and they want help with, then they can contact me back and I'll give them a quote.
Right.
To help them with that. I would say 90% of my people just execute the report themselves. And then they work with their realtor partner to set up a time when they think they're going to be ready for them to bring in the photographer.
Right. Well, that takes a lot of planning. So I know that sometimes you get a listing and they want it to get on the market the next day or in a couple days. And so you really have to plan it out. If we're going to get the stager involved, we got to have time for that.
Right.
And then got to schedule the photography. So there's a lot of steps involved there.
Sure. There's a lot of coordination. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about, how much it costs and stuff like that. Do you have a set schedule or is it all just by the job?
Vacant staging is by the job because I quote based on how much furniture, how many rooms, how many hours it's going to take me, and where the stuff has to be moved.
Right.
So I outsource my movers. I don't have them on staff. So that very much depends. But on average, you can get your average house, because I pretty much only stage the main living spaces.
Right.
So if I have a model home, they might want all of their bedrooms staged, but for the most part, it's the main living spaces on the first floor, every bathroom. If there's a basement with a mantle and built-ins, I might accessorize that. If there's a bar down in the basement, I accessorize that. And then the master bedroom, if it doesn't show large, if it's on the second floor. If it's on the first floor, we pretty much always do it.
Right.
So it's just those areas. Usually you can get out of it for $3,000.
Okay. But then again, that's for an empty house.
That's for an empty house for
Right.
$3,000. And then you just, if it has to stay longer than a month, you just pay the rental on it, which might be $1,000 a month.
Right.
Okay.
Just depends on how much stuff you got.
Just depends on how much stuff and where you're located.
And so, if it's an empty house, it's everything you have to bring in, right?
There's different philosophies on it. I am very accessory heavy.
Right.
So if you have glass cabinetry, I'm going to put some dishes in there. I'm going to put some wine glasses there. If you have a bar, I'm going to set your bar up a little bit. I'm going to put some books on the coffee table with a fake plant and pillows and blankets and baskets. I'm very accessory. Some people are not that are in the industry. It just depends on your business model.
So do you have a warehouse full of furniture somewhere?
I do.
Okay.
I have 1,500 square feet of furniture stacked to the ceiling with accessories too. Yeah.
Okay.
I have one whole unit that's just chairs and headboards.
All right.
Bar stools, chairs, headboards. And then the other part has my case goods, my upholstery, and all my accessories. My rugs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Floor coverings. You got to bring that too sometimes.
It's a very physical job. It's very. I have movers, but I help.
Of course.
With all the accessories,
placement and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's a very physical job.
So, you mentioned a lot about your experience. Are there certifications or anything like that in this industry?
There are. And I'm smiling because I went and got trained in Charlotte, and it was good to work with, because it's the ASP training, and I think some of the realtors get it. It was a little outdated, but the benefit I got was there were 30 other stagers that were there. There were 15 other realtors that were there. And so we worked together on a couple projects during our training, and I got to pick the brains of some of the real estate professionals that were in there, and that was the biggest benefit. But most of what I do, I have worked out, you know, on my own.
Figured out how to do it efficiently.
Figured out how to do it, figured out what photographs best, what looks good.
So do you have different styles and stuff that you can do depending on the house?
Yes. I always match the architecture with the staging. So.
What would you call those? Like classic or traditional? Or?
Right. So most of what Knoxville loves is modern cottage. Right. Most of our architecture is cottage. Right. So in 08 it was traditional cottage, right? And now we're moving into this generation of homeowners, and they're more modern cottage. So it's a mix of modern art with some traditional pieces, but not too traditional.
Right.
And everything has to change with styles, because nobody wants to buy something outdated.
Right.
Right. So if I have a house that I put outdated things in, then the house feels outdated.
Right.
And that's one of the things I work with in an occupied home. We might ask them to go and purchase a few things that might make them a little bit more trendy looking. Because you'd be amazed at an outdated house, when you put more trendy things in it, how much it improves.
Elevates.
Yeah, well, it makes it feel like it's not as old.
Right.
Right? I mean, you know, I think that our society now, we want new.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
When that's broken, we throw it away, we get a new one, right? I mean,
we're in a whole new millennium.
Yeah. We don't fix anything anymore,
20 years
right?
into it
Because
now,
it costs too much money to fix it. You just throw it out and get something new. So it's really important that houses feel trendy.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ida, if someone wanted to contact you, how would they do that?
You can call my cell number, which is my business number, 865-771-9204. Or you can email me at ida@knoxvillestagingservices.com. And I have a website, knoxvillestagingservices.com.
Well, and if it's all right, I'll get some images off your website to put on as B-roll.
Sure.
Okay. Great. Ida, I really appreciate you coming out today and taking some time to talk with me about staging. If you enjoyed this video, please check out some of the other videos on my channel. Thanks for watching.